Yo, what's going on, ladies and gents? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today we are once again back on Call of Duty Warzone, and I wanted to share with you guys the top 3 MP7 class setups that you can use to do well. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys a rushing MP7 class setup, a very defensive setup, and an overall MP7 class. So hopefully with one of these classes, you'll be able to pick one that you can dominate with. If you want, you can change a few of the attachments, create your own little variant, but I think you guys will be able to pick at least one of these that you'll have fun using and be able to find success with. So what you're watching right now is me demonstrate what each of these weapons is going to play like. Keep in mind this is a private match against veteran bots, so in Warzone it is going to take a little bit longer to take somebody down. However, I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what each of these weapons looks like. So the first one that we're going to jump into is the rushing MP7 class setup. So if you guys take a look at the stats that we're going to get with this thing, you'll see that we get a really nice boost to accuracy, a small boost to range, and a decent boost to mobility. We drop off a little bit of control here, which obviously is going to be a big deal. This is a very accurate gun to begin with, and we're going to be playing super aggressive with this. So if you guys take a look at the attachments, we're not going to be using a muzzle. Generally, I recommend the monolithic suppressor. However, because we are playing super aggressive, we want to save that attachment and use it elsewhere. We're also not going to be using a barrel. Now, the laser that we're going to be using is the 5MW laser. So I love this laser because we get hip fire accuracy as well as sprint to fire speed, giving us a nice boost to accuracy and mobility. So again, the 5MW laser. We're not going to be using an optic. We are playing extremely aggressive, so having that optic on there is really not necessary. The stock that we're going to be using is the FSS close quarter stock, generally a stock that I use with most of my SMGs. This is essentially a free attachment because you get the aim down sight speed as a pro, which will boost your mobility, and the con is aiming stability, which is useless on an SMG anyways because we don't have idle sway. So even though the stats show that we're losing accuracy and control, you're really not. So just disregard that. Anything with aiming stability on any of these attachments is pretty much void because we don't have idle sway. So again, the FSS close quarter stock. The underbarrel that we're going to be using is the Merc foregrip. So this is a perfect underbarrel for close quarters gunfight situations. This is going to give you recoil control as well as hip fire accuracy and a massive boost to accuracy as well as a really small boost to control here as well. So again, the Merc foregrip underbarrel. The ammunition is the 60 round mag. We're going to be using this on every class because, as most of you guys know, in Warzone, it's always great to have the highest round mag possible as long as it doesn't hurt your movement speed too much. With the MP7, I think everyone I've ever talked to about this weapon, including myself, uses that 60 round mag. So that's the ammunition that we're going to be running. And last but not least, the rear grip that we're going to be using is stippled grip tape, a perfect rear grip to have on an aggressive setup, giving us aim down sight speed as well as sprint to fire speed, and again, that con of aiming stability. So another free attachment here, but I'll give you guys one last look at the stats and attachments that come with this specific MP7 rushing class setup. Now, the next class that we're going to jump into is the very defensive MP7 class setup. So this will be for those of you that like to camp, sit in buildings, and really not play aggressive whatsoever. You'll be able to do really well from distance with this thing, even though it is an SMG. As most of you guys know, this MP7 is extremely accurate in general. But if you guys take a look at the stats that we're going to get with this specific class setup, you'll see that we get a massive boost to accuracy and range, as well as a small boost to control. We end up losing a decent amount of mobility. However, like I said, we are playing very defensive with this, so not that big of a deal. So if you guys take a look at the attachments that we're going to be using, the muzzle that we're rocking with is the monolithic suppressor. Obviously a really good attachment to have on most of your weapons, giving us sound suppression as well as damage range and a really nice boost to accuracy and range here. So again, the monolithic suppressor muzzle. The barrel that we're using is the FSS Recon. So this is the best barrel that you can use when it comes to distance. You guys will see that with this, we're getting a really nice boost to accuracy and range as well as control here. So the FSS Recon barrel. We're not going to be using a laser. The optic that we're going to be using is the Solo Zero Optics Mini Reflex. Now, this is personal preference. For myself and most of my friends, we generally run an optic on the MP7, especially in Warzone, because a lot of your gunfights are going to be from distance. But if you don't really want to use that optic, you want to use that attachment elsewhere, which you guys will see in the overall class setup, you can do that. But for the defensive class setup, because most of our gunfights are going to be from very long distance, having that red dot is going to help us out. So the Solo Zero Optics Mini Reflex is what I chose to use. If you guys have a different optic that you feel more comfortable with or that you like using more, you can rock that. But that is the optic we're using. We're not going to be using a stock. Now, the underbarrel that we're using is the Commando foregrip. So this gives you essentially just recoil stabilization, and you lose a little bit of movement speed here, but you guys will see that we get a pretty nice boost to accuracy, range, and control. So again, the Commando foregrip underbarrel. And last but not least, once again, the ammunition that we're running is the 60 round mag. I think this is more important from long range anyways, just because from distance, it's going to take a little bit longer to take people out than if you were from point blank. And you're probably going to end up missing a few shots since people are going to be far away. So having that 60 round mag will make a huge difference with this setup. But I'll give you guys one last look at all the stats and attachments that come with the very defensive MP7 class setup. And last but not least, we're going to jump into the overall MP7 class setup. So I call this overall because it's good for not only long range, but close range as well. So that if you're an aggressive player, you like to play defensive as well, you can kind of use this for any situation or any game style that you have. So if you guys take a look at the stats that we're getting with this specific class setup, again, you're going to see that we get a massive boost to accuracy and range here. We still lose a little bit of mobility, which obviously in Warzone isn't that important. And we get a small control boost as well. So accuracy is going to be the main focus when it comes to the stats here and the attachments that we're going to be running. So if you guys take a look at the attachments that we're using, the muzzle that we're using is that monolithic suppressor. Again, I think this is always the best way to go with any weapon in Warzone, unless you are playing extremely aggressive and just rushing around the map. With this, we're getting sound suppression as well as damage range and a nice boost to accuracy and range. So again, that monolithic suppressor muzzle. The barrel that we're using is once again the FSS Recon. Again, one of the best barrels that you can use here in Modern Warfare with the SMGs. So that's the barrel that we're going to be using. We're not running a laser. We're also not going to be running an optic or a stock. The underbarrel that we're using is once again that Commando foregrip. Keep in mind, guys, the recoil stabilization is pretty much the only thing you're getting here. It may say that you're getting aiming stability, but there's no idle sway, so you're really not gaining anything here. But you're getting a nice boost to accuracy, range, and control for that recoil stabilization. So again, the Commando foregrip underbarrel. The ammunition that we're running is that 60 round mag. Again, very, very important. Make sure you always have that on. And last but not least, the rear grip that we're going to be using is rubberized grip tape. So this is going to improve your accuracy greatly. And you guys will notice a huge difference between running this and not running this. You guys will see that we only lose aiming stability. So again, another free attachment here. And the recoil control just makes a huge difference from distance. So if you're shooting at someone from long range, if you guys want to test it out in a private match, you could definitely see a huge difference when running the rubberized grip tape and not running it when shooting at distance. So really good attachment to use here for this MP7. But I'll give you guys one last look at all the stats and attachments that come with the overall MP7 class setup. If you guys have any questions or anything else to add about any of the classes that I share with you in this video, please make sure to leave a comment down below and I'll be sure and try to help some of you guys out. But I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.